Alright, welcome to Larry's Topics. I know it's been a while, but I've decided eh, I really need to get some of this stuff out there. Alright, my biggest thing is I'm gonna break my rule. It's my rule, I made it, so I'm breaking it. We're going to talk about, no, religion, but with a twist. Alright, let's see. About stop thinking about it. You know, there was. It's gonna. I'm covering how about the Anunnaki and Atlantis and all that. I can explain quite a bit of stuff, and it makes sense when you think about it and hear what I have to say. All right, let's begin. All right, everyone knows about all the pyramids around the world, right? Right. And everybody knows about the Great Sphinx and the finding of other Sphinx-like creature sculptures around the world and that. And everybody, most people have heard about the Anunnaki and that. And you're probably wondering, what do all these things have to do with each other? Let alone Atlantis. Let alone the Anunnaki. Let alone uh, what they all have to do with the Bible and the time proof of God. And I'm going to explain. All right, you stop to think about it. All right, Great Pyramids, Atlantis, right? The Sphinx, all the pyramids of the world. All these things predate Noah's flood. And in the Bible, it talks about giants before the flood. Right? Right. Also, there's talk about the book of Enoch. And in the book of Enoch, it explains where the giants come from. And also, when you put this all together, it makes perfect sense. All right, the Anunnaki, everyone thinks was an alien race from outer space. They weren't. The word Anunnaki is one of its translations means watchers, the watchers. Well, in the book of Enoch, is described that when Enoch's going through the seven different levels of heaven, there's a group of angels chained up, crying and moaning and awaiting judgment. What did the Watchers do? I'll get to that. The Anunnaki, like I said, okay, were called the Watchers. They claim to be from Nibiru. Nibiru translates two ways: point of transfer or point of crossing. What would they be crossing from? What would they be transferring from? Heaven. The Watchers, aka Anunnaki, were actually angels. A group of angels called Watchers. God knew what they knew. Lust had fallen into their heart, so He stripped them of their heavenly authority and heavenly essence, and they traveled to Earth. And when they got to Earth, they landed in a, of course, they're going to land in one spot first, and this is where Atlantis falls in. Atlantis was described as one of the most technologically advanced civilizations for its time, right? Right. Now, what did the Anunnaki slash Watchers slash Angels, what did they do? What was their crimes? They came to Earth. Because they lusted after our women. They brought knowledge of advanced technology, weaponry, science, and magic. Things that God didn't want us knowing because He felt we were not ready for. So, and here's what makes it more interesting. When you think about it, all the other Anunnaki, when humans were calling them God, all the other Anunnaki are like, no, we're not gods, don't call us that. But one, Amunatan, said, yes, I am a god, worship me as such, bow down to me as such, and give me your love and worship. Why did the other Anunnaki say, no, we're not God, don't bow down to us, don't worship us? Because that's what they did. They started bowing down and worshiping, and like, no, we're not gods. Don't bow down and worship us. Why? Because they were angels, and they knew there was the one true God, and they knew this would enrage God because God says, "I am a jealous God. Don't worship any other God. Before, thou shalt not worship any other God before me, for I am a jealous God." Right, right. So they knew this would enrage God, so they didn't want any part of it. They already knew they were in trouble for what they were doing already. But Amunatan, he's like, well, I'm already in trouble. I'm going to let these people worship me, and I'm going to get all the love and glory and worship that should be going to the Father. I'm already in trouble, so I'm going all out. That being said, if you think about it, Atlantis was most likely where they had originally landed, and they started sleeping with our women, and our women would give birth and take our women as wives, and our women would give birth to children that were known as Nephilims. Nephilims grew at an accelerated rate and reached unbelievable size. The weight and size, you know, 10, 15, 20 feet tall giants. And it is said that they have found remains in caves and that of giants, 10, 15 feet tall, with 6 fingers, 6 toes. Nephilims. Right? Right. Now, of course, where the place where they landed first and started teaching technology and science to the people, of course, they're going to become more advanced and superior when the Anunnaki leave Atlantis to spread out, and to different areas in the world, which they did, right? So the whole time they're gone, Atlantis is advancing itself by leaps and bounds, right? Right. So they go out and they teach technology to the other people and other cultures of the world, which is where the design for pyramids comes from, the design for Sphinx come from, and how can I prove that the Anunnaki were these angels? If you look at pictures of the Anunnaki, right? A lot of them, they have a bird's head, right? And in the picture, a lot of pictures, it shows an Anunnaki, even with the human head, and it's the same picture, holding what looks like a pine cone or an ear of corn. What could that pine cone be symbolizing? What could that ear of corn be symbolizing? What people don't realize is pine cones and ears of corn have nodules, which are different seeds clustered together. You know, that's why the pine cone looks the way it does, and it's so similar to the ear corn because it's actually a cluster of seeds. And how do you, how would you, what in human, any kind of asexual species have, not asexual, heterosexual species have, that would be clustered together to symbolize multiple seeds in one, but an ear of corn, right? That's for, symbolism. But semen, humans have semen, which is referred to as seed, which we produce children with. And it shows in the drawings and etchings with the Anunnaki holding the pine cone towards what looks like a fancy drawing for double helix, human DNA. That being said, you know, they're gonna do it that way. The artist is not gonna draw a picture of an Anunnaki breeding, get mating with the female human woman. No, they're not gonna do that. So they're gonna use symbolism. So, ear corn and pine cone symbolizes a cluster of seed, symbolizing semen. That being said, human DNA strand that looks like a ladder or whatnot is symbolizing interbreeding, mixing the DNA. And how do you do that? Without genetic manipulation, you reproduce with that species, which is where the Nephilim come from, which is why they were so big, because angels can change their size and their mass. They can be the size of a mountain, or they can be the size of a human. There's pictures of Aminatin holding a full-grown male lion in his arms, like it was a teddy bear. There are stories of Anunnaki being so strong that they could fly up of their own accord and place their hand on a mountain and slam it into the earth. Why would they be able to do that? Because they're heavenly beings. They're angels. Their power isn't limited like ours. It's nothing compared to God, but they're still pretty powerful. That being said, if you look at the drawings of the Anunnaki, a lot of them they show have wings. Ancient astronaut theorists are like, oh, it's to symbolize flight. No, it's not to symbolize, well, yes, but no. It's to symbolize that they had wings. Why would they have wings? Because they were angels. That's why they were depicted having wings. They most likely are able to pull their wings and hide them with a form of false illusion and expose them when they feel like it. Right? Right. There's a symbol of what looks like a bracelet on one of their hands, and that hand is holding a bag. A bracelet, people say, resembles a watch, right? And then the bag. What does that all symbolize? I believe the reason they show the watch, which is a sign of advanced technology, and the bag is what's usually in a common symbol thing bags are used for, other than take out garbage, but carrying gifts. That's what this is. That's why the watch is on the same hand as the bag, because the bag symbolizes the gifts of advanced technology, science, weaponry, and magic. That's why they're in the same hand, because it's symbolizing the gifts that they are giving to us. All right? All right. All this is going on. Nephilim are becoming so bloodthirsty, and their appetites are growing so greatly that they are killing and eating humans. And this is enraging God, right? So what does God do? He waits for his chosen person to be born and become an adult. Noah. He instructs Noah to build the ark, which would take Noah 189 or 198 years to build. And while this is going on, his family is going out and collecting animals. And God's guiding him to collect the animals to bring to the ark. But while Moses is building the ark, and this is what's funny, he needs somewhere to put them. But you go to more recent years, a farmer in his country kicked this big rock, and I think he broke his foot or something.